Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Moon Magic. We are recording today from an actual store, so do not be alarmed by any hubbub you might hear in the background. I am Tracy Hawkner, and with me,
Heather Rowan Robbins, astrologer here at Eye of Horus. And today we're talking about the new moon in Taurus coming up on May 17th. And this has got some interesting paradoxes. Now, a new moon in Taurus is the most fertile time of the year. If you don't want to have a baby, keeping track of birth control, but it's a wonderful time to plant seeds, to build projects. But Mercury will be going retrograde at the same time. And so that's kind of tricky to have Mercury retrograde just as we hit the new moon, and Mercury be stationary. And so it's not a good time to, normally you'd say that this new moon is a time to plant ideas and contracts and projects and conversations. There will be a lot of conversation, but it's not a good time to begin those.
because when we have a retrograde Mercury, we say, don't start new things, don't commit to new things. Don't.
For 3 weeks, 3 times a year.
Oh my gosh.
And Mercury retrogrades. And it's a time, we say Mercury is the messenger of the gods. So Mercury retrograde is a time when the gods aren't talking to us, so we need to talk to them. It's a wonderful time for meditation, for retreat, for beginning any new spiritual practice, for beginning any new, if you want to make a new resolution for your own process, or speak to your deities that you work with. And this is a wonderful time. You can listen and feel that process. You can have some great conversations, but we won't be thinking particularly sequentially there with Mercury retrograde in its own sign of Gemini. So it will be, if you need to do public speaking during that time, find a way to keep your notes carefully organized, because we'll be thinking gestalt, not linear thoughts. So conversation can sort of spin in circles. But things we can begin: a garden, a new health regime, new romance, any new building, things that talk about earthing and grounding and physicalizing an idea that's already formed.
I think we were talking about ideas a person has already had, deepening the roots of that is really good at this point too. So really getting rich and deeper with something you've already either toyed with or begun.
Right. It's a wonderful time to pull out old art projects, finish that painting, that book, find the old manuscript, go through it, connect with old friends, get a hold of old business contacts and stir those coals. Find an old romance that you haven't seen in a while and check in with them and see how it's going. So it's a wonderful time to reconnect. Remember, with Mercury retrograde, anything that begins RE is useful. Remember, reconnect, review, re-edit, revisit, and go back to an old place. Many people will be leaving schools around this time and going home. It's a wonderful time to do that. And if there's communication issues, just breathe through them and see if you're having trouble in a relationship, or you've just gone home and your relatives are driving you nuts. Eat with them. Do something practical with them. Don't try to talk it out at the moment. Just ground it.
Right, with this much Taurus influence, anything like of the senses that we can do together. So, as you say, eating together, or a stroll in the park, maybe enjoying some flowers, anything that touches the senses that we can do together will be probably
Really
a very
helpful.
good bonding thing.
Venus will be in Cancer and coming up to oppose Pluto. So there's a kind of an emotional sense, a reviewing of what we've lost, what we've let go, the water that's gone under the bridge, how much our family has changed since the last time we saw them. And we need to come back to our hearts and reassure ourselves in the continuity of our traditions and the support of our own health. Just watch that we can get a little touchy and a little self-protective, a little crabby, and that needs to be acknowledged, but don't let that side run the show.
We were talking about some different stones that might be good at this time. I just love working with stones. There's one called a tree agate, which is especially good for working with nature. If you don't have a green thumb, tree agate will help with that. But it also helps with other forms of trees. Our own nervous system, for instance, is actually a branched tree throughout our bodies. Blood vessels, family trees. Again, anything where we have some branching that goes on, where things are splitting off and becoming more varied, the tree agate helps us process that and keep that connection a little better. It's a fancy new stone for me. Everybody knows moonstone. Moonstone is a wonderful thing. Black moonstone gets especially deep into the spirituality, and I'm thinking at new moon, oh my goodness, black moonstone is so nice.
Right, going way within.
And of course, new moon oil is always good at this time.
And, you know, we talk about how much what you do around the new moon grows roots. We talk about the tree growing roots. But so can bad habits, anger, frustration, bad political parties. Watch what happens around that new moon and be careful what roots you let grow. If you find old bad habits coming up, let them go quickly. Don't attach to that pattern. If you feel resentment coming up, acknowledge the resentment, let it go quickly, and don't follow that storyline. Just notice the feelings coming through, because we don't want those roots to grow. And keep an eye on what political machinations are going on around you, and how can you support good roots and help weed the bad. Also, on May 22nd, Venus opposes Pluto, and then it squares Uranus. And this can mean we hurt each other's feelings. One of the things we need to watch out for, how it technically reads is, we will feel heart sore or feel our depths. Notice what we care in the face of life and death. Notice what we care about, and then need to make some changes. And this could mean bad news that makes us change our diet. It could mean we just saw a headline that reminds us that life is ephemeral, and so we begin to feel precious and appreciate the people around us, and change some of our emotional habits to support that. So it can be very benign, positive, easy ways to calm our heart. What I want to watch out for is a tendency to hurt each other's feelings, get all huffy about it. It's just a misunderstanding, and end the relationship because we didn't work out the problem. So be careful, define your terms, keep asking, did you just say what I thought you said? Really listen through that process so as not to get caught on the more negative side of that aspect, and instead help it reevaluate together what's really important and put your hearts there. That's a good use of this new moon, and letting it really grow in a healthy and beautiful way.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for joining us here at eyeofhorus.biz.
And we'll talk to you next month.
So, beloved fans, thank you for joining us for another episode of Moon Magic. We will be doing this every couple of weeks, and you'll want to keep up. Subscribe to videos. If everything's gone correctly, there should be a clickable link here. Subscribe to the videos. The store itself can be found anytime. eyeofhorus.biz. Don't lose track of us. During the videos, we are constantly yattering about candles, stones, and oils. Oh my. Stuff can be had, and we're not afraid of shipping. Feel free to click on products. Gotta have your stuff. Readings. Either myself, Tracy Hawkner, or Heather Roan Robbins, fantastic astrologer. Book a reading, it's fun. And the music you've been listening to, by the way, composed for us by Johnny M. Johnny's music is also available. Important to patronize the arts. Thank you so much. Bye now.